Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. It's great to see you. I'm Deanna. I was just thinking this morning when I set up this show, didn't we used to have coffee time an hour earlier? And didn't I put it at noon temporarily? And do we want to keep it at noon or do we want to move it an hour earlier? Let me know if you have an opinion on that, because as I was typing it in, I thought, man, it would have been way more convenient today to have it earlier, because I need to run to the studio, then I need to run back for the kids, and it doesn't give me much time at the studio. I wonder how you all feel about the timing. Do you like it where it's at? Is that predictable and it's there? Or do you want me to shift it again? Because I'm happy to do whatever, and it's always nice when some new people can join. Sorry, I'm wet, but I'm clean. Um, all right, let's see. We've got some stuff going on today. Hang on while I figure out what is different. What is different? Michelle, great to see you. Thank you so much. It's been great catching up with you too. G and B. G and B. Is that you, Gayla? G and B. Happy Wednesday. Melissa, happy Wednesday. Enjoying a gorgeous day on the patio with our Lizzie Borden. I bet you are hooking that up a treat. I still have not finished mine. Let's hold for a second because I have to say the last few days I have been insanely working on Halloween patterns. I really am not a person who likes to work on something outside of the season. In my mind, it creates too much chaos. I know a lot of people don't mind working on Christmas stuff, for example, in the summer, but it makes me like almost feel physically sick. I don't know what it is. It's something in my head. It's like when somebody leaves the light on in the morning and then it gets really sunny and the light is still on. It makes me just triggers me in a huge way because it's like don't need lights, already all lit up. Those kinds of atmospheric things are really troubling for me. And normally I can't hook outside of the holiday or the season, but this time it has. I'm really enjoying working on the Halloween stuff in the Halloween book. If you're a Patreon member, thank you. You saw that I sent out another big post on Monday. I think it was Monday. I think it was Monday. Um, about a bunch more patterns that need doing for the Halloween book, The Haunted Rug. Lots of people grabbed some of the patterns that were up there. There are still some. It's not like the best ones are gone, right? Patterns are, it depends on taste from person to person. Some of my favorite ones, very favorite ones, have not been claimed. Um, so I'm still looking for people to do some hooking for the Halloween rug. If you want to get published, if you want to see your rug somewhere, would be a great help and a lot of fun. I am very happy to send one of each pattern. So I don't want to have doubles. Well, I mean, I don't mind having doubles, but I'm happy to send one of each pattern to people who are willing to hook them, punch them, quilt them, embroider, anything you want. Like it doesn't have to be hooking or punching. But I'm happy to send something on backing fabric to you if it gets us from point A to point B, because I'd love to see those getting done. Um, yeah. So let me know. You can always write me at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. You haven't seen them yet if you're not a Patreon member. So, and I don't want to blast them out in general, because then I feel like the book will be anticlimactic if everyone's seen the patterns. So if you are interested in working on a Halloween pattern, email me at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. I've got a few left and they are all good ones. I'm not putting bad ones into the book. But we've been working fiendishly on getting some of these patterns done. I need a lot of lead in time because there's going to be at least 50 patterns in this book, and the patterns are going to be full page patterns to go with it. And there's going to be text with each one. It's going to be broken up into chapters. So there's like Melissa's working on the chapter on like real life murderers, murderesses. Lizzie Borden, there's some others in there. There are other chapters that are like the design like Halloween, right? And different themes. So hugely fun project. I've been working away on that, getting so excited. I was doing some dyeing yesterday to fill some orders that came in while I was away. I'm slowly catching up. Well, I'm quickly catching up on those orders. And while I was dyeing, I saw that one of my dye pots, I took the color out because the color was just right. I saw that one of the dye pots was still loaded with color. And me being the way that I am, right, sometimes overly thrifty, I thought, oh, I'm not going to waste all that purple. So I ended up pulling out a huge bag of those weaver's loops for making the pot holders that I found at Goodwill the other day. Did you catch that video? I put the video up on YouTube and I put it up in our Facebook group, which is Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club. And I dumped half of the noodles into the pot of purple and the other half into a pot of pumpkin. And I recorded a video that I thought was a quite fun video for you. So after the show, if you're looking for something to watch and you haven't seen it yet, look for this video on the Ribbon Candy Hooking channel. You can see in this picture, the bottom right, so these were primary colored loops, right? These were the cotton ones, not the nylon. So I was a bit skeptical about how well they dye because I always search for the nylon loops. But in this case, this is what I got. It was like a couple of dollars, $2, $4, something like that for this giant bag. So I put, and they were red, green, blue, white, and yellow. That's it. So I put, and then some Tweety mixes. The purple is the bottom right, and it came out kind of indigo blue for the most part, but there are variations. This was a video on marrying color, meaning you over dye several different colors, and you end up with a collection of pieces to hook, in this case pot holders that I'll snip, and I'll hook with them as a strand, as a strip, right? Except they're a bit more like a caterpillar. They're going to be too thick for me to hook doubled up. So I'm going to snip them and regard them as strips, right? So I'm used to that whole format. So the purple ones came out with some great sort of nuances, but the color, the one thing that all of the purples have in common is the color that I used, which was a mix between Dharma's hot hyacinth, no, hot hibiscus, and Dharma's, I think, blue violet. I say it in the video. So it's a mix between those two colors. So while all of the colors were different going into the pot, now they are all married together, meaning they will match each other well because they all have the dye pot color in common. So I put the blues in, I put the oranges in. The oranges are on the bottom left, and you can see great variation with the oranges too. This was Prochem Spiced Pumpkin. And when I looked at them, I thought, I love the purpley blues, I love the rusty oranges, but they are worlds apart. And now I have to think of a composition that would include both of those colors. And then I thought, no, why don't we do a third mix? Why don't I grab some from the blue? Because I felt that's a lot of blue purple for autumn designs, because I'm thinking about the Halloween book, right? So then I grabbed a handful of the blues and I put them into the orange pot just for a second, and I got that top color, which is my favorite color of all. It's so spicy. It reminds me of like a spice cabinet. Like it's got blues, it's got purples, it's got browns, it's got oranges. It's so pretty for me, to my taste. That's super pretty. Judy says, I was really surprised that the cotton loops took the color so well. Judy, I was too. It's not off. You know, I handled them in the same way I would handle wool or nylon or doing other kinds of dyeing. Put them in the Synthropol. And I said in the video I'm going to soak them for like half an hour, but then it was like, things were crazy. The postman came and the dog was barking, and I knew I had to go pick up the kids and stuff, and I just thought, I got to get them out. I can't wait. I had other stuff going on. And so I took them out probably after being in there for 15 minutes, and I thought, well, now this is the kiss of death, right? I ruined the video and the loops, but I put them in there and they came out so good. It did take much longer than it would take for the wool to attach to the color, right? I mean, that's instant. In the case of the loops, it took forever, and I was thinking, this might not happen, right? But it was like the slow burn. It did happen, and they came out great. So I hope you look for that video. That is a fun project to do. It's just another way to be able to pick up things at yard sales, flea markets, thrift stores that are super cheapies and turn them. That's a lot of hooking material for me. That, I don't know how many ounces on the bag. You'll see it in the video, but it was like the size of a pillow. So it's going to be a lot for me to hook with. It's going to be a great value, right? And I'm thrifty. So speaking of which, this is the shirt I just posted on Instagram. I've got my green screen on, but I found this great Gee's Bend shirt while I was in a thrift store in Chatham on the Cape. Quilts of Gee's Bend. So I cut the, because it's like an extra large or something, I cut the length and the sleeves and everything. Perfect. We're good. We're all Gee's Bend and we're good. All right, let me see who's here this morning. Great to see everybody. Heidi, great to see you. Beautiful Wednesday for everybody from Belgium in Europe. Oh, I bet it's beautiful right now. The weather has just been incredible. It really is just idyllic. Don't let me say later in the summer when it gets hot that we didn't have any kind of spring weather, because it has been so comfortable here in New England for so long. Don't let me say that. Don't let me get away with that, because I'm always shooting my mouth off and complaining. And the weather has been beautiful for a long time. Becky, happy Wednesday. You're ready to sit, hook, and listen. Perfect. I'm ready to do that too, though. I've got to get more people onto the show. I was thinking about that too. It's been fun when we've done that. I want to do more of that. I'm always on my best behavior when there's someone else on the show. I don't go down as many mental rabbit holes. I try to keep myself, So come and be with me on the show. Send me an email if you're thinking, oh, I would like to be on the show and show some of my rugs. I would love to have you. Those make very low, sort of intensive in terms of putting content together. They're very easy for me. So I love shows when I can chat with somebody else. That's super fun for me. Joyce, great to see you. Happy Wednesday from the Poconos. Ryan, happy to see you. Happy Wednesday from sunny and warm North Texas. Day off work. Woohoo! So you're working on projects. Peace and love to you too. Kat, did you send me a message and I missed it again? I can call you right after the show if that works. Let me know. My phone is on airplane so we don't get an echo. I'm telling you. It never ends here. It never ends. And right before the show, Teddy's teacher sent me a message because he is going to school, although he graduated. They're doing fun stuff. And the teacher sent me a message saying, oh, you owe money for the yearbook. And I wrote back and said, didn't we send like $40 or $50 for the yearbook? Like, because I know we did. And he wrote back, yes, but that was the other yearbook. That's the school yearbook. You didn't send money in for the class yearbook. And I thought, did we accidentally buy a yearbook for people who we don't know and don't even want to open the yearbook to look at pictures of? And now I owe you more money? So I was having that right before the show ended because I'm like, is Teddy going to be able to get a yearbook today on yearbook day when everybody's signing each other's yearbook? Or do I need to go over there right now and cross your palm with silver? You know, I'm not going to. I'm not going to start. Everything works like this lately. Everything is stupid. I don't know what we bought because we bought a yearbook. How many yearbooks are? I'm stopping. It's so aggravating. It's incredible. Changing the hour. Oh, changing the hour, Heidi says, is no problem for you in Europe because you're like 6 hours ahead, I think. Oh, Nada, great to see you. I haven't seen you for ages. Great to see you. Good morning in the San Francisco Bay Area. Has been a long time. I've been seeing stuff from you now and then pop up in like Rug Cooking Magazine and online. It's always beautiful, always amazing, always looks like you. Kat said, if there's a movie with Christmas, it's different. Yeah, I have the same thing. I'll do that it's Christmas in July, isn't it, on the Hallmark Channel? I do that too. That it works for me then. Um, are the Halloween rugs for the book hooked? Oh, Ryan, punching is absolutely acceptable, and I'm really hoping that some people will want to quilt or do stuff with needles. Um, so yeah, anything is acceptable. Any fiber art is more than acceptable. I want every project to have a line drawing in the book. So if people like that particular design, there it is as a line drawing. Even if it's like a wool applique rug or a penny rug or something, I want there to at least be pattern pieces or line drawing. So knowing that, you could take the information of the line drawing and do it however you want. For you, punching obviously is perfect. But yeah, I still have some that would be great for punching that don't have a ton of detail, but I could send you some if you want. Definitely would love some punching. Olivia, great to see you. Good day. Good weather in Ireland too. Love your die pot outcome. Me too. I was even thinking of overdoing it a little more. Maybe I'll just order some more of the pot holder loops because I thought, you know what would be really a fun color to put over the pot holders now that I've done the purple and I've done the orange would be like a gold, like a brown gold. You know what I mean? Or like a green gold, like Cushing's green gold has that bronze green maybe, but more gold because that glow, the thing that the cotton lacks, the cotton loops lack, in contrast to the nylon loops, is the glow. Do you know? Like it doesn't the with cotton the dye is flat. It's pretty and it's there. Oh, that's gray, but it doesn't glow the way that it does with wool and silk, velvet, and nylon. So I'm thinking I might need to force the glow. I like that. Force the glow. and do some more of them with more of a yellow color over them, because I think that would integrate well with the purple blues and with the oranges as well. This is very fun. If you do this with these potholder loops, post some pictures and tell what color you use so I can see the results, because I'm really interested in doing a rug that's all potholder loops starting with those two colors, and I'd like to add some more colors in too. Okay, let's see. Shannon, great to see you. Nice, cool day in Delaware. It's cool here too, and I'm thinking, man, I wish I had the strength to open these windows because it is hot in here now. Okay, Michelle, yes, perfect. Oh, the ripped shirt. I love this, and I'm still on my crazy diet, so it might be that these clothes don't fit that well, and I've got to think of other ways. I was thinking about taking I cut the sleeves off, and I was thinking about as a chop shop thing, cutting. I do this with Jossie shirts, just cutting a strip of the sleeve, like the cuff, right? Open up the thing and just get a long rectangle from the cuff and putting it like here with a tie. So it's like ruched a little bit, you know what I mean? I thought, oh, that could, maybe it's too cute for someone my age, but I thought that could be cute if these sleeves are too big. I don't want to cut the sleeves too short because it's a big shirt and you can see all my business in there, right? In my armpit too much. So I was thinking, let's see what we can do with oversized shirts cut up. It's fun to re-thrift all of this stuff. And of course I'm saving the sleeves and the bottom I cut off. I already put them in my t-shirt pile so I can hook with those too, because this is a nice neutral color. Paula, really enjoyed seeing Cape Cod. Oh, I'm so glad. We have more Cape Cod from the Cape Cod show this afternoon. And I'm still thinking about the Friday show. I haven't had time to get back in touch with Naomi about possibly this week. I was thinking about also alternately for the Friday night show, which is always a 2-hour show for us, cocktail time at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was thinking about doing a recap of the Cape Cod trip for me, just in several photos, because I had a lot of sketch ideas, drawing ideas, active ideas during the trip because I was gone for so long. I thought maybe it could be fun to look at some of the highlights together and do some live drawings together, or even start some live hooking projects together on Friday night, more of an interactive episode. Or are you feeling more like a cozy episode and you want to talk about books or existing rugs? Or you can always give me your feedback for what you're in the mood for. I can get anything together. But as I was looking through my photos this morning, looking for this one to put behind me, this was the first day when we were I cropped the piece that I was working on at the little hotel before we checked in at the pond, and all of these beautiful trees and shade. And I just had a lot of images that I wanted to kind of work out live. So I thought maybe for Friday, we'll see how it goes. But there will be a Friday show for sure. Heather, great to see you. We got to get together, man. It's been forever. Ryan says, I'll shoot you an email. Yes, shoot me an email about the Halloween book. That'd be great. I'm still working on the ticket thing. What I'm trying to figure out with the tickets for the Halloween event, because there will be a haunted rug event in the Berkshires on October 20th at the Red Lion Inn. Did I say that yet? I might have said that yesterday. I'm kind of giving the information in parts because it will have a cap on it. And I want to see everybody there, but it does have to have a cap because it's a huge inn. But because it's a hook in as well, we have to have a lot of tables in there. And there's also going to be at least 4 vendors, if not more. So we don't have as much room for people. We're going to have to cap it like 70. And that sounds like a lot, but it's really not that much considering how many guilds are around here. So I know that some of you who know this is happening are already booking. So it will be happening at the Red Lion on Sunday, October 20th from 11 till 5/5:30. Because at 5:30, the inn opens up the tavern downstairs, the Red Lion, and there's always music down there, live music, and the Widow Bingham Tavern and their dining room, and there's a bunch of other restaurants that you can eat, both walking distance on the street. And you go one town over to Lenox, and there's 20 more cute restaurants and taverns and pubs and things like that. Go in any direction. So I know some people are booking the Red Lion, and I know some people are booking nearby hotels because the Red Lion is like a destination old-time country inn, and it has a price tag that matches, right? So the event is there, and you can come there, hang out there, regardless of whether or not you're staying there. I probably will stay there because it's turning into a treat for me, and I will stay a few days and try to work some other things in around that hook-in day, like the Norman Rockwell Museum. I definitely want to do. I do that every fall, and the Shaker Village, and maybe Herman Melville's Arrowhead House. maybe Edith Wharton's The Mount. There's a bunch of places, maybe the Yankee Candle flagship store, which is so fun at that time of year too. There's a bunch of things that are very close by, like uncountable things. So as soon as I catch up from orders from being away, I will put together kind of a brochure for us that tells you where are the yarn stores, where are the galleries, the art, the inspiration places, where are the walking trails. It won't be like where are the movie theaters and the bowling alleys, right? It'll not that I don't love that stuff, but it'll be stuff that I'm assuming you're interested in too, because we probably like the same things. Where are the little antique stores where I might find rugs? So I'll be putting that together as soon as I can. It'll be well before it's time. But I know people are starting to book lots of little hotels around there. There are hundreds of hotels in the Berkshires, and October 20th is after peak season. So the prices are down and the competition is not as high as it was 2 weeks before when the leaves were crazy and blazing. We're still squarely in harvest/holiday mode at that point in the year. It is gorgeous and comfortable. And there are lots of choices. So be thinking about that. You can always write me with questions. The closest airport to come in there, I know there's some people who are flying. The closest airport by far is Hartford. I know it's one of the smaller ones, and it costs more to come into the smaller ones. Um, it's also possible to come into Boston. It's just a longer drive, and unknown aggravation factor with traffic coming out of a city like that. If it's comparable at all to come into Hartford, I would highly recommend that. And if people are coming in Hartford, please tell me, because I'm right there and I'm very happy to help with transportation. I really am. So keep me updated on all your plans with that. Let me know if you're working on patterns. It's going to be a really fun time. And I'm just trying to figure out, since the book is included in the event as well as the food, I'm trying to get the right price for that. I know how much the food is, and it's all very manageable. Just trying to figure out how much it's going to cost for me to print the books, because I don't want to be hitting a heavy loss with this, or things are already tough enough. So yeah, send me questions if you have questions about anything like that at the Red Lion. Yes, I know, isn't it great? If people who live around here, and you know the Berkshires, because it is like such a good four-season destination, the Red Lion is just iconic. It's right up, you know that painting that Norman Rockwell did of the Main Street? That big building is the Red Lion, and it looks exactly the same. Nothing at all has changed. I think the same rocking chairs are probably on the front porch. It is so charming. It is so charming. And Alice's restaurant from the song is 1 block over, still on the Main Street. It's called something different now, but that is Alice's restaurant. It's very, very pretty there, and I hope I see a lot of you there. It's the first time I'm doing something like this. It's like a book launch party, hook in, vendors, fun, possible tacking in other days, hanging out. And I will get braver and start doing more of this stuff as time goes on and planning larger things. This is just the first of, I hope, many. So Olivia says, I think I need to relocate. You have there is a lot of fun stuff to look forward to. Ireland is great too. I'd love to make my way over there sooner rather than later. All right, let's look. Let's look at, what were we doing? We were doing the. Let me see. It's got to be right here. We were doing ATHA magazine. Let's keep going with that, and I'll keep an eye on the thread to see if you have some questions there. Was there anything else I was going to say? No, let's just do it. It'll come to me later. So, all right, let's see. So, here we are. Here we are. Okay, so we were looking at the current issue of ATHA magazine, and I made the remark in Monday's episode. This is a really different look. ATHA is looking great. I'm really excited. It just seems like not a completely different direction, but it seems like whereas I felt like it used to be, and I loved it. It was just different format. I felt like it used to be a lot of, here's the picture of this guild and here's what they're doing and here's another picture, and it felt like a scrapbook. We still have enough of that it feels like ATHA magazine, but I feel like I'm seeing more articles from each chapter that are substantial. And I don't mean a 20-page article. I can't make it through a 20-page article, even if it is on, for example, John Forsyth, right? Like my all-time favorite. Still can't. Too long. But nice, compact, manageable articles that get to the point, and there's lots of them. That's the thing. There's lots of them. So I'm loving the way the magazine looks. I showed you this in Monday's episode. In the table of contents, there's lots going on. I like this. I hope this is not a symptom of this whole throwaway culture, because I'm not a TikTok person. I'm not a throwaway person, but I do like a lot. I like more. I'm a big more is better person. So if there's more articles, even if they're shorter, for me that means lots more rabbit holes, and it's exciting for me. And in Monday's episode, you saw that there are quite a few, very varied, right? The content. So we saw the article with the dolls. Remember the one that had the spoon and the fork and the rug hooks for the arms? We saw some really cute stuff. The lunar dragon at the beginning. You know, I skip a ton of it because I hope that you subscribe, and I hope that you will have this issue. We saw Amzi Collins' stunning Everything But the Kitchen Sink, hit or miss. I think we stopped right there. Let me see. Yep, we stopped right there, and I am blazing over some. We looked at the a little bit at another view of fractors. Remember that? I think we're getting right to the point where oh, and then we talked about the North County, which is San Diego, ATHA region number 8, the wool gatherers holiday exhibit at the Temecula Valley Museum. And we were looking at that when we stopped, I think. These were we looked at a Santa and a beautiful kind of crazy quilt Christmas tree, a mermaid, and there were a ton more. And let me catch up. Oh, God, remember where we left off? We were doing the Name That Tune game with the small mats. Paula, is that your show? Oh, you're kidding. Now Paula, that happened already, right? That's past, or is it an annual event? Oh, interesting. Paula, I wonder if you and Catherine, I don't know if Catherine, you're on. Catherine, you're close to there, right? I wonder if you know each other. Okay, so this is by Susan Naples. Paula, this is your guild. Oh, you're kidding. Okay, ATHA region number 11, the Orange Coast Classics chapter. Oh, how fun is that? How fun is that? Yeah, we started looking at this on Monday, and I was really surprised because it is very seasonal, and I'm such a jerk. I never think of Southern California as being a particularly seasonal place. And whether it is or isn't doesn't matter. There's still a lot of rugs in here with snow and pumpkins and turkeys and Santas, and it's a really fun article. Excellent feature. Really nice feature. This is a great article. And then it goes on. Yep, then we did the Name That Tune. That's where we probably left off. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it? That was really hard. There are a lot of ads in here. A lot of ads. And then there's a feature that's called Let's Hook. Instructions for pulling up loops. Okay. All right. Yep, that looks good. All right. Getting a little triggered. Let's leave that alone. Okay, and then ATHA region number 9, rug hooking roundup, y'all come. So then there's a plug for the ATHA biennial meeting, which is in Texas, and it is September 4th through 7th in Grapevine, Texas. And I know we've been talking about this, but just so you all know, just in case you are tuning in now and you don't know that that's coming up and you're nearby, the ATHA Biennial Convention is in Grapevine, Texas in September. That is coming up, 2024. So there's some sheets there, some pages about the different vendors who are there. Good list of vendors. These are some great ones. And some sign-up stuff. The fundraiser book, remember I covered the fundraiser book. I ordered this a while back, and we did a coffee time episode looking at the fundraiser book, and I just loved it because there was a pattern with all of the pages, different people donating a pattern and making that page up a finished piece. Lots of inspiration. It is $49 including shipping. That is I'm assuming that's continental US. It was a lot of fun. A lot of patterns for that money. So super fun. And we got some more ads. Okay. Between the Loops, getting to know our representatives. Compiled by Valerie Benjamin sorry. ATHA Regional Coordinator. I never know how to say that surname. I'm sorry. So yeah, a little bit of an interview with Valerie. That's interesting with the event coming up. It is fun to think about and talk about the faces that you will see, and to get yourself in that mindset for the vendors who will be there. If you are going, I know I do this when I go to fiber festivals. It's like a disease. I look at who the vendors are, and I look at their websites, and sometimes I even buy stuff from their websites before I go to the event, because I'm always in scarcity mode and I'm afraid the thing is going to be sold out before I get there. There's something really wrong with me. I know you're all more normal than that, but it is fun to know who the vendors are and what to expect. Um, so there's a nice article about Valerie. Um, no, I'm sorry, compiled by Valerie. ATHA, okay, I'm sorry, I screwed that up. ATHA Region 8 is Lisa Hooper. Okay, so this is, it says Illinois, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota. That's an enormous region. So I'm sorry, the interview is with Lisa. That was Lisa I just showed you a picture of. And then the article shows a bunch of rugs that she's done. And this is a lot of fun. It's a lot of rugs. Um, so yeah, a few pages of rugs that Lisa has done. Getting to know Lisa and getting to know her taste. I think that's what I had for you right here. So this is one from that article. On these two pages, See More Rugs by Lisa Hooper, ATHA Region 8 representative. Lisa is from Liberty, Montana. And I particularly liked this one. So this is one that out of Lisa's pages, this is one of the ones that I featured here. And I really liked this one. I felt like we might have seen this before, but I'm not sure. Do you remember? Because I know we saw one that was a house, and the hooker had included all of the animals who kind of gather at the house daytime and nighttime. But I felt it was different. I might be wrong, but I love the raccoon springing up in front and possum coming at night into the driveway to check if there's anything there. The owl up on top, and there's a cardinal on the right and a different bird over on the left. I just think this is such a charming piece. Paula said, yes, and it's the second one we did. Yes, I'm helping Kat. Oh, how cool is that? Oh, Paula, that's great. Okay, good. Now I'm getting it together. I'm getting it together in my mind. That is so fun. So Paula's saying it is the event. It sounds like it is an annual show. Is the theme always hooking holiday rugs, or is it different from show to show? That's really interesting. I hope that you all take lots of photos of it so we can look at them afterward, if that's okay. I would love that. I would super love that. I think I used one more of Lisa's. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, I think I used two more of hers. I really liked this one. This is so different to me. It looks like it's a thin cut, like maybe a number 4 kind of a thing, right? Does that look right to you? 3, 4. But what I like about it is it seems to me it looks like a woodcut, because it seems to me like this piece, and I don't know, right? Because I don't know Lisa, and I wasn't with her when she hooked this. But if I was going to try to recreate it, I would I would hook all of that black low, and then I'd hook everything around it higher. That looks like how it's done, and it gives it the effect of being a woodcut. And that really makes sense, logical sense, doesn't it? It's a very limited color palette. It looks like we've got 4 colors all in. The blue is a change in color, and the green is a change in color. The yellow a little bit too, and the white. But for the most part, we're talking about 4 primary colors, and that black neutral. And it does function as a woodcut, because it seems to me like there's a height difference between the motif and the black, right? Detailing. And there's something about hooking at different heights that's so attractive, because I tend to do a lot of outlining hooking, because I love working in a graphic kind of cartoony style for my own designs. But when I look at this and I think, this is interesting too, because you still get that strong definition. The black is really helping to shape the thing up, right? You're getting emphasis in the right places because you're seeing the black lines, but the black lines are not an equal part of the storytelling. They are receding into the background, and that gives you a little bit more depth and interest. I don't think it would work for every kind of composition, but for a simple composition with really one motif, this is a great idea. Paula just answered, the museum displays many subjects, and this was the second time we were invited to display our hooking. It was a well-attended show. Oh, that is so fun. It's so good to know there's other things, happening and stuff going on with hooking all over the country. It's never going to be enough, is it? We're never going to, well, I shouldn't say never say never, but there's just so much like quilt stuff, and I love quilts too. I also love quilts. By the way, if you are local, it looks like there's a quilt event opening up at the Cahoon Museum in Katuitt on Cape Cod. I'm tempted to shoot back for the talk on that. I'm going to have to pull up when that is. But, it's just great to see rugs represented and as tapestries, right? I think it's much more common if the internet is a good gauge, it seems like it's much more common in Canada to see rug shows than it is in the US. And maybe it's just a numbers game that the US is so big and there are so many places that would need to be represented with rug shows, and it's a lot to mount a rug show. I remember that from last summer. So this is another one. I think I have one more of Lisa's in here. I really liked this feature. I like this. I really like this. I thought at first it was a tree skirt, and then I realized that I'm a ding dong. It's definitely not a tree skirt. Um, you know what I think this is, and it doesn't say because this article is a collection of Lisa's projects over the years. This looks to me like one of those, like the armature for like a wreath, don't you think? At Joann's or at Home Depot or a garden store or whatever, you see these round circle things that they're usually green, that have their wire skeleton. And the idea is to use them as the basis for adding like fake flowers for wreaths and things. Well, this is I mean, that's what it seems like to me. I don't know. But you could also do this with cardboard, right? You don't really need an armature. But I think this is a great idea because it seems like she's gathering it a little bit around the edges and covering it. And it creates a really interesting wreath. We see a lot in rug hooking. We see a lot of Prati wreaths, right? And they are always very pretty. This is different. This to me has like some kind of a seasonal change feeling in it. Do you see what I mean? It seems to me like if we start at the top at 12 o'clock, right? It's a little off center, but let's say we stop at 12 o'clock. That looks to me like maybe spring, summer, maybe I think backwards. I think summer is 12 to 2 or 3, and going counterclockwise looks like fall, winter, and maybe spring is like the brown with the blue. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just color planning. But to me, it looked like the colors were broken up into quarters, and it could just be an interesting color plan, but it could be like a hat tip to a seasonal color cues. But I thought, what a cute idea, what a good idea, and something that you could keep up all year round if you love the way it turned out. Sorry, Buttons is barking. I just thought this was a lovely piece, and the more I look at other stuff, having this hang up myself about three-dimensional stuff. This isn't exactly three-dimensional, but I tend to be, for myself, a bit of a purist with hooking. I tend to feel like if I'm making a hooking slash tapestry, then that's what it is. And if I am making a quilt, then I'm making a quilt. I like mixing mediums, but I tend to not do three-dimensional things with hooking. I'm more likely to sew. But all of that is kind of changing. The more I see people doing different kinds of projects like this, and I think, that's interesting. And why not? My main issue with projects that are not flat two-dimensional rug projects, for myself, my main issue with that is that I am both hooking and sewing. Like you need some sewing knowledge, very little, but still to be after you finish the hooking, right? You have to figure out how to get the thing into the shape of a wreath, right? So those are the moments for me where I'm usually like, no thanks, Satan, not today, because it's just another layer of thought and problem solving, and I'm usually not up for that. But maybe I'm mellowing out in my old age and thinking, interesting, that seems easy enough. I think I can handle that. Um, so it's fun. It's fun to look at other people's stuff. I think, Catherine, you just said, I have one wreath foundation, and now you've been inspired. It's a good thing to think about, isn't it? Because I know in the garage I was hoarding wreaths for a while because I thought I would do something with carnival games. I think I have probably 30 of them out there. One of them is bigger than my green screen. It's probably 6 foot across, and I haven't thrown it out because it's flat. I mean, they're all flat, so they're hanging up on like nails in the garage, higher than where I parked the car, so they're not taking up any space, and I can justify continuing to hoard them. But I've never had a really clear thought about what to do with them other than I thought, oh, maybe we'll throw balls. Maybe I'll put a Tide tool on them and make them colorful and the kids will throw balls through them. And now I'm also thinking, ooh, it would be nice to do frames like that. You know, you could do a frame on like a mirror with that, right? If you had a corresponding mirror size. Or I like it open too. It doesn't have to be like functional or have like multi purposes. It's pretty to just have up on the wall. It's unexpected to see something that's circular with a cutout in the center. And wreath maybe isn't the right word when it's not intended to be a wreath, but it is an unexpected kind of artsy idea. I thought it was a very cool project. Let's see. So, oh, wait a minute. Oops. Um, all right. Oh, am I doing one? I did one more. I put in a bunch of Lisa's. I think I love Lisa's work. Yeah, this is another one from Lisa's pages. And I thought this was pretty too. I don't recognize the pattern, but I would guess that perhaps it could be a Cushing pattern. It might be one of those Alita Acres patterns. I'm not sure. Because it's a little cottage feel, you know, but it is beautifully done. And this one looks like a much wider cut, doesn't it? It looks almost selvagey. It's a very wide cut, very moody. I think I loved the palette of this piece. Super unexpected colors. The grays with the cool kind of plum, right? Plum color, kind of mauve and plum. Two colors of gray in this guy, at least two colors of mauve, and lots of what look like white and ivory. Very, very neutral palette, very flat palette. And flat colors are my favorite, right? Colors that people call dull, dark light, dull bright. For me, those are my favorites. And with the introduction of that little gold house, right? This is the color that I was talking about. That little warm gold colored house is bronzy and pretty. It's probably antique gold or one of those from Cushing. It's a beautiful warm color. It has a silhouette feel to it because the trees aren't done in a separate color. It's done partially in silhouette. And that makes a lot of sense. It also makes a lot of sense because the house is the motif, but it is set far back on the hill. It's a clever composition because it gives you a lot of room for play on the hill. And you think, ooh, snowy hill, that is going to be a tough fill. That I didn't mean to make that poem, but and it probably was a tough fill, but it came out great. Again, Lisa's doing something with the black outlining, just like in the sheep picture, where it looks a little bit recessed, and it's just giving sort of little pinpricks of color, of dark color, that shape the thing out, that give it weight and really define the composition. It's nice seeing that sharp triangular peak at the top of a gentle round slope. That makes a lot of sense. This is a very geometric composition because then we've got the diagonals of gray and purple in the sky coming in at an angle. So while you look at it and it's like simple pastoral, simple composition, it's really not a simple composition. It's a very evolved composition with that round hill, the triangular house, and those diagonal movement, whether they're clouds or just weather in the sky, is very clever. It's very well done. The sky really draws attention to that house, and the fact that the house is against the gray cloud, I think, is quite smart, right? It's like this moody little moment of shadow. Beautiful piece, beautiful piece. And again, it doesn't say who these designs are by in this article. And if it did, I would be reading you the caption, but it does not. So moving on, I'm skipping over a couple of articles for reasons that you already know. To ATHA Region Number 5, Anne Norvell of Florence, Alabama. This feature is called A Rug for Eloise, and this just got me. I just love these kinds of compositions. This is so cheerful, colorful, and cute. Anne wrote, last October I took a class from Cheryl Bolenbach at the historic Franklin Hook-In. I had purchased this pattern a few years ago and it had been in my pattern drawer for some time. Sound familiar? This rug was going to be for my granddaughter Eloise, who is 3. Of course, purple and pink were a request. Cheryl taught a wonderful class and I learned so much. She is very inspiring. To hook this rug I used a 6 cut and an 8 cut. I used a variety of fibers, hand-dyed wool, sari silk, many types of yarn, dyed nylons in some of the flowers. I was really pleased with my results, and so is Eloise. So this is absolutely beautiful. This might be one of Cheryl's patterns. I'm not. Yes. Oh no. Nope. It's the design is by Beverly Conway. So I can see that too. If you know Bev Conway's work, it just absolutely looks like it. Really, really pretty primitives. This is so pretty. Did you notice? I just love the composition. Did you notice around the border, before we get to that kind of chartreusey, goldy green outer border, there is one, it's a 3-row border. There is one inner border of color changing, kind of confetti, alternating colors that are all present in the rug. So like leftover strips from the rug making up that border, just an interrupted kind of Morse code border that I think is super successful, super, super charming. Really sweet pattern. And, oh, this was a great feature. All right, hang on, let's see. I'm just shooting through the pages. Celebrating 40 years of rug hooking with a one-woman show. This is by Deborah Foster Laurel of Maryland. The photography is by Linda Brinkerhoff. I'm sorry, Linda Brinkerhoff of the Gator Group chapter. So this is an article about the 40-year legacy of. Let me see. Let me read part of it to you, and let's see, because it doesn't necessarily mean the same person wrote the chapter. Let's see. On Saturday, March 16th, 2024, the Gator Group Rug Hookers was honored to present local artist Marta Grinberg's beautiful works of art in the Fellowship Hall of the Sebastian United Methodist Church, Sebastian, Florida. The art of traditional rug hooking was demonstrated by members of the Gator Group as well as hooking friends from other parts of the state. The event came to fruition about a year in advance of the event, after Marta offered to donate all of her old ATHA and rug hooking magazines. I gladly accepted the gift, and upon visiting her home, saw that many of her pieces were rolled up and hidden away in closets throughout her home. Nearly immediately, I felt the need to correct matters and make sure our small part of the world got a chance to see her work. I asked Marta if she would consider a one-woman show, and she generously agreed. I then presented the idea of the show to the membership, and that led to a year of anticipation due to our very short formal hooking season, which is October to April. All totaled, there were approximately 80 pieces in the show, some as small as Christmas ornaments to the largest, a spectacular 6x9 oval modified by Nancy Reynolds with permission from Jane McGowan Flynn. The adaptation was to add an additional ring of flowers to her Burnham Legacy pattern. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's the one we were looking at. Sorry, I'm just calibrating that. I see. So that inner pattern is the Burnham Legacy. And then they asked Jane McGowan Flynn if they could extend it to make it a larger rug. I see. I see. That is a gorgeous rug. That is a gorgeous rug. There is not a hit or miss quality, but you can see there is movement and variation in the rust color, right? It goes darker toward the border. It's a really, color-wise, this is a great, interesting rug. I mean, there is a lot of light white and light lemony green, yellowy green. There's a lot of light seafoam, right? The outlining seems to defer to outlining lighter, right, in the Guatemalan style, as opposed to darker with black outlining. It is just gorgeous. The colors in this rug, let me make it a little bit bigger for you. The colors in this rug are over the top. There we go. So pretty. So pretty. So this is a beautiful article. Gosh, I can't stop looking at that. Let me show you. Marta is such a beautiful woman. My God. I'll show you a picture of her. She is just, oh, maybe I have it on the next slide. She is just a beautiful woman. There she is. This is a gorgeous piece too. Now again, I'm looking at pictures that are not, there's no attribution, so I don't have a name for this design. If you know it, feel free to chime in or leave a comment. This is a gorgeous rug too. I'm at a loss. It is just gorgeous. Very dramatic. Right? There's something really elegant, exotic about Marta. She's just so classy and gorgeous, isn't she? I love what she's wearing too. She is just gorgeous. These rugs really have her style. So, for example, I'm looking at this one too, and I'm just looking down the row, the exhibit, and I mean, they're all very different, but they do have a style. You can see what kinds of patterns she goes for. Interesting, isn't it? Really interesting. It looks like on the reverse, there's a basket or something that's lined maybe with a rug. Do you see what I mean? But she tends to go for very dramatic colors. And like Judy says, she really knows how to make her design pop. Yeah, she goes for high contrast, lots of drama, and she seems to like really tropical colors mixed with warm, rusty colors. So that specific, it reminds me of like kind of Bombay Company, color palette. Although she does very different rugs from one to the next. Let me see if I included any more in this slideshow. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. This is just me being stupid. Hang on. There we go. Oh, come on. Seriously? Oh, I see. I see. I keep clicking the wrong button. I'm sorry. Whew. Sorry. There we go. Um, I do have more from her. Let me just quickly show you this because I just want to make the point. Um, it is a really warm color palette that she likes. You see what I mean? It's a great mix of high impact color, but she does like to mix it in with warm. Now that's very specific. There isn't a word for that. Even in our great English language with so many words, there isn't a word for that. She loves the high impact, like Judy said, the really dramatic colors that pop. But which I guess in the Gator group too, in that region, tropical colors, bright colors are really popular. But she's really mixing them in with with warm, rusty paprika colors too. That's very different. This is another example of that. This is just another beautiful, simple composition. The vase or the I don't want to say urn, but the vessel looks like it's stone, right? Really well done. And then this beautiful collection of Pratti flowers. Now these are truly Pratti flowers. It looks like the leaves are Pratti too, against a kind of marble cake background. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? This is absolutely beautiful work. Absolutely beautiful. Let me see if there's any more. I don't think we're going to have time to look at the Cape Cod stuff today. I think there's one more. Yep, this is one more from Martha's show. This is a footstool. So we are seeing more and more footstools lately. Um, I think I did a video on making a footstool, didn't I? I think I did. Because you can really I love footstools like this, where, you can, oh, easy for me to say, right? But you can easily make a footstool like this with just the piece of wood cut from Home Depot. And then you go into the aisle with like the knobs and stuff, and you can create legs on an ottoman or little footstool like this by just putting like some kind of a rod or a screw right through the things that you stack up, like little balls and even like big spool type things, like turned wood with a hole in it. You can create your own legs without having to buy specifically legs, which they also sell. But it's fun to do these stacked legs because then you can color them differently. I remember seeing this as far back as like the 90s in galleries, people not necessarily hooked, but people doing these funky footstools that were painted with these legs that were made up of all of these like balls and turned bits of wood and painting them all differently. So colorful and pretty. That was really popular for a long time. But I'm sure that I have a video of doing the footstool that I did for my sister a few years ago. And, it seems like, I don't know, white magic trying to put together something three-dimensional that includes the foam padding, which can be expensive and tricky. But it's really not, even for someone who is not a huge sewer or someone who doesn't feel super capable with their hands, it really isn't that big of a project to do a footstool. It seems like it would be, especially from someone like me who's like uh, apprehensive about approaching a wreath, right? But it really isn't as hard as you would think. It is a lot of upholstery tacking and then hiding stuff, turning stuff under. It's a lot of that. I particularly love this. I love the design. It's almost like a cat's paw on top with the circles, but they're not touching. beautiful design for any room, I would think, right? Really different. It's got kind of a different story on the top than it does on the sides. We're seeing like a bed of flowers, God's eye view on the top, and then around the sides we're seeing the stems. It makes it very three-dimensional looking. I love the checkerboard. That always reminds me of Mackenzie Childs, right? So pretty. And then the final bling, the great Prati leaves that bring us back to like primitive rug hooking in Prati. Nice big chunks of colored wool and patterned wool. Very appealing for a rug hooker. I think this is something that would catch absolutely anybody's eye. Michelle said the Marta's work, being the bright colors with the rusty paprikas, reminded you of the 70s. And I will say that since, wait a minute, she's celebrating 40 years of hooking. So she was hooking in the 80s, 90s, 10s, and now into the 20s. So she might have been hooking, let me see, at the end of the 70s. That is not impossible. It's a full article, so I won't read it, but yeah, I'm just eyeballing it again. I just love her work. She seems to be doing mostly patterns that I recognize, pattern like McGowan type patterns. I see the three owls. That's a Jane McGowan. Okay, let me see if I can show you this really quick. Let me see if it can come into focus. Just give it a second. I'm sure it wants to focus, but hopefully coming into focus are the three owls. Let me see. Sorry. Struggle is real. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. The three owls. I think that's the Jane McGowan Flynn. And remember how I said, oh, there's a basket or something on the other side. There it is. It's a little straw tray thing. It looks like it has some lace trim on it. Oh, I really like that sun too. Oh, that's very good. And the fruit basket, that is really good. The little wooden basket of fruities. How pretty is that? These are all super super pretty. Beautiful exhibit. I wish that I could have been there. That is just so much beautiful work in one place. She just looks like a lovely woman. And then there's an exhibit. There's an article, ATHA chapter 14. Sorry, region 14, Wild West Hook-In by Deborah Johnson, Wyoming and Germany. Oh, that's an unlikely mix. Cody, Wyoming. That's one of my favorite places. So there's a nice feature in here about a hook-in. Now, this is ATHA, right? Looking at the chapter, looking at what they're doing. I absolutely love that. We used to see more of that in ATHA, but now it's being balanced by the chapter giving us an article more rather than lots of pictures. Do you know what I mean? I prefer this because it's like, I feel like more lately with ATHA, I'm seeing actually what people are working on and not just pictures of people. That's what I mean. Which makes me think of the stupid yearbook, and I hope they're giving Teddy the yearbook over there because it's yearbook day. And I'm so aggravated that we bought the wrong yearbook when I don't know how that's even possible, but whatever. So beautiful, beautiful issue. Oh, wow. All right, one more thing. Spicy tulips from the cover. Right, so this was our thumbnail on Monday. Spicy tulip sits on the cover. This is from Jane Holden of Halifax, Nova Scotia, ATHA region number 15. And just got to read you part of this. I hadn't gotten this far in the magazine yet, and I got to show you the picture that goes with this. Spicy tulips, designed, dyed, and hooked by Jane Holden of Halifax, Nova Scotia, 2020. This piece is 16.5 by 19, wool on rug warp. I started hooking in 2002, but I only finished my first rug in 2018 due to my work. This is my 10th piece. I have now hooked 18 rugs, including 2 punched pieces. I love designing rugs, and I especially enjoy dyeing the many gorgeous colors. After much fun and work, I am now a qualified teacher with the Rug Hooking Guild of Nova Scotia, and she's Oxford certified punch needle instructor. Spicy Tulips rug was a project for my teacher training in Nova Scotia with the Rug Hooking Guild, Nova Scotia, where the museum is. The assignment was to hook a primitive rug using all recycled wool and over-dye the background. Ooh. I enjoyed the subtle humor at the bottom and the deep colors. Oh, it says something on the bottom. Oh, I see. You can hardly make it out because of the colors are so similar. That would be the over-dyeing part, I think. Here, let me show that to you so you know what I'm talking about. See if you can tell, even if it doesn't come perfectly into focus. There it is. You see how over on this side it says the year and her initials, but it's in that deep red, and the deep red is present in the piece itself, in the spicy tulips. God, it's so hot in here. Hold on, I want to show you one more thing. Although it resembles a fracture design, here we go. The inspiration was a wooden spice cupboard made in England between 1650 and 1660. I was attracted to it because it was found in Massachusetts, near where my family has lived for generations. Man, if I had seen this cupboard, I would have gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That wasn't in the article. That was a no filter. The wood carving was easy to adapt to my hook design. The lines I placed on the photograph helped to orient. Okay, let's talk about this for 1 minute before we log off. So this is the inspiration for spicy tulips. Are you ready? This is what I live for. Honestly, this is what I live for. This cabinet is what she was inspired by. Now, I'm going to make sure we get into focus, even if it takes a minute. There we go. So this was the inspiration. And do you see how, I mean, that is so gorgeous, isn't it? Look, I mean, I probably couldn't have afforded this, even if I found this in Massachusetts. It is so gorgeous. It looks like the hardware on there is beautiful too. Isn't that striking? So I'm going to show you the finished piece again. But you see how what she's doing with the measuring of it? And same idea, right? She was super stylized it. But the little swirls that are in it and all of that are at the bottom of the picture too. Now, I just want to tell you, if you're interested, right, with stuff like this happens to me a lot too. When I like something or I take a picture of something, I'd like a sneaky picture in a store, shame on me, and it's not at the right angle. I have figured out, it might be the same for you, it might not be the same for you, but I have figured out 2 good ways to get the thing straight. This also happens to me when sometimes people send me pictures of rugs, like for gallery night. I wouldn't do this with a book project because the book projects are too important and really have to be high quality. But for gallery night, sometimes someone sends me a picture of a rug and it is like this on the floor, and I want it to be like this. 2 ways that I figured out to do it. One of them is paint.net, which is different than paint. You probably know this, but I'm just saying it because I'm very slow to learn, and it's taken a long time for me to learn these things. Paint.net, you go under layer and format in layer, and it pops up something with like what looks like a compass rose, and you can go like this and like this with it, and it's so oversensitive, right? But it works great. It is remarkable how well something that looks like this, you think it is never going to turn out okay, it's going to be super stretched. It's remarkable how well it works. More recently, I found that on my phone, and again, if you're into phones and doing this, I realized this was something new with my phone. I definitely did not have this before, but now when I take a picture, it has an icon not just for cropping it and changing it this way, right? Not just this or cropping it, but it has a feature for this and this. And it also works remarkably well. So sometimes when I take a picture, if I'm, for example, in a museum tour and I quickly stop a picture of something and I think, am I supposed to be taking pictures in here? And I don't want to stand there and frame it out. You know, I'm doing something that I'm not sure about, and I gotta look at it later though. So sometimes when that happens and I look at it and I think, oh, it's driving me crazy OCD wise. So I use that feature of the phone and I fix it until it's just perfect, and then it works well. I mean, technology in that one regard I think is amazing. So if you have, and if this works better for you, you should absolutely do this. Always work on stuff the way that makes the most sense for you. I just feel that since I'm sitting here in front of a camera, if I can think of other ways to do the same thing for people, different ways, right, that it's helpful for us all to go, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. By the way, I have to add this and be a jerk. I have to say 2 things and be a jerk. I'm sorry. You know I'm a jerk already, right? I can't help but thinking that this is the only craft where you buy a kit and you alter it hugely and you need to ask permission to alter a kit to make something for your own house. I think this is the only craft where that is still like expected. I'm done with that. The other thing I'm going to say is, just to be clear, right? If you are in our Facebook group, there was a post that I took down last night that I considered alarmist. I'm not a big fan of alarmist posts. It was about fiber tape. And I just want to say, I'm sure it was posted with the best thoughts and intentions, but it did include a line about how some people think that they can show a product like fiber tape in a video and call it a cool hack. And that was obviously a direct reference to me, which I didn't love. That in itself was enough to take the post down on my own page in my own group. But the bold print of the post was, do not use this product if you like to live, and also if you like to breathe. So I feel compelled to say, as far as transfer methods, you should use whatever you are comfortable with. Absolutely. You should always do things like we were just saying, right? Exactly the way that you want to do them. I will say that I use fiber tape all the time. I have 2 little kids. I am paranoid about sickness, death, health, failing before I get them to a good time in their lives. I am very careful. I have researched fiber tape insanely, insanely. And it is very clear that this product, it is not like the old fiberglass stuff, the Pink Panther insulation, fiberglass curtains and beddings that everybody had in the 70s, right? It's not the same kind of a product. You would have to actually mash up fiber tape, atomize it and turn it into dust form to even possibly give yourself the kind of problem where you would be saying to yourself, can I breathe and live, right? And even then it would be highly questionable, because if this product were dangerous, all of the contractors who use it on the fiber tape videos without masks on would have already been suing the company and all be rich, right? My feeling is that the product is very safe, and that is based on research. I also had my husband, who is a PhD level scientist and works at Yale, look at this product in great detail. I feel comfortable with it. I use it all the time. If you don't feel comfortable with it, that's fine. But I do have to take down alarmist posts that get people nervous and excited on a social media craft page. I do have to take those down. So if you noticed all that, I just have to say, whatever you think the best thing is, if you make a post and say, listen, I can't live without me red dot, I'll say I love that stuff too. I just find it more expensive and harder to find. Light table, I'll tell you, Rebecca Martin of Storyteller Wool, when I went and visited her, she stands at her light table. She managed to buy a very sophisticated light table from a local artist for a song. I feel like in the next house that I live in, when I have a proper studio in the house, I want a light table too. Partly because I have to keep all the fiber tape stuff stored, which is difficult because it's hundreds and hundreds of patterns. But I also love that I don't mind the light table. I just can't figure out a way to do it logistically that's easy for me. I love that she stands at it, because I think one of the reasons I have problems with weight is that I'm sitting down all the time. I would love to stand for part of the day and do light table stuff, and I might switch to that, but it's not going to be because I think that I'm not going to be able to breathe tomorrow because I've been using fiber tape. So always use whatever you think is best, and always feel free in our group to make posts that say, I'm using this thing. It doesn't have to be the same thing I'm using. I might look at your thing and go, oh, well, that's obviously better. I'm going to use that now too. That's absolutely fine. Just the tone of that post. Maybe I did not have a good sense of humor last night or something. I was busy. It just got me. So anyway, each to his own, right? And definitely everybody's responsible for themselves. And you have to, if you don't, I don't want to say trust me, but always do your own research and figure stuff out for yourself so that you are comfortable and sure in your own shoes with the things that are around you and everything that you touch in your day, whether you're eating it, touching it, using it for your projects, whatever. It's up to each person to figure that out, but I am comfortable with it, and that is the only reason I have promoted it ever. So think about what we're going to do on Friday. I will be with you Friday, even though I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do. Yeah, Shannon, I didn't know either. That feature's new. Like, I picked up the phone less than a month ago, and it was there, one more icon next to the original two. And I thought, what's this? And I was reluctant to touch it because I'm stupid enough to think, oh God, I hope I don't delete my photo. But no, it was that. It was that. And it's amazing. Judy says, no, the tone was extreme. Expressing concern is one thing, but it was over the top. It was over the top. And I get, going out of focus, I get that some people feel that I'm an interloper and that I am new to the group and to the rug cooking world and all of that. And there isn't a lot of love for me among lots of people in the group. And that my videos are not always super well appreciated or received, but they are from my point of view, and they are true to me myself. If I put up a video that has misinformation, you will notice that I will always edit the video, even if it's something small. Sorry, I'm out of focus. It's not you. Even if it's something small, like I decide to switch from crochet hook that's a 3 to a 4, or I change the strip size. You'll notice that if I make a change in a video or I change my mind after, I will always add text to the bottom of the video to say like PS or post note. Thinking back, this is a better way of doing it. I will always do that. And we actually had the conversation, my husband and I, last night about the fiber tape. And I said, can you check one more time to make sure that there isn't something new that I don't know about fiber tape, like a massive group lawsuit? He was checking all night, and he said it's the same thing. He looked at everything in PhD detail, and again, I felt comfortable with it. You have to do you, I do me. We meet at the same places in the same way with the same happy faces, with all of our different ways of working, styles, materials, everything. And hopefully in October on the 20th at the Red Lion Inn in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, the heart of the Berkshires. I will see you on Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not sure what we're doing. If you have any ideas, go ahead and send them. I'm not ready for gallery night yet. I need a little more time for that because I'm still catching up with orders. But I will see you all soon. If you're looking for a Halloween pattern to hook for the book, you do not need to send it back to me. You get to keep it, right? I just need it by, like, I'm saying September on the outside. I'm going to format the whole book and leave things open until people send them to me. But you do get to keep it in the end. And if you are coming to the Haunted Book book launch hook and party at the Red Lion on October 20th, 2024, Sunday, and you have hooked a rug or rugs plural and you want to bring it, that's great, because my plan is to put up one of those big accordion boards and to pin up as many of all of my rugs. I'll pin up there, and other people who come, some of the vendors who are putting rugs in the show, if they bring theirs and put them up, then we'll also have a little exhibit. So if you're hooking stuff for the book and you also want to put it into the exhibit during that party, you should do it. If it's too much of a bear to have something that big rolled up in your suitcase when you travel, don't worry about it. It'll be in the book. It'll be great. We will all love it. I've got plenty. If you want to do one, I'll get one to you. We'll make it work. Catching up on comments. I will see you all on Friday. Have a great tomorrow, everybody. See you at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same